Hello, I'm Dean Whiting, Pathology Technology Australia. Today, it's International Pathology Day, and we're celebrating the critical role that our members, the manufacturers and suppliers of critical pathology testing and testing technology provide to healthcare in Australia. And particularly today, we're looking at the testing technology that our members provide for detecting and managing the COVID-19 pandemic. So each of the members that are speaking today have had a major role in providing the testing technology, and you can hear their stories coming up next. Can you tell me a little bit about the technology that you and your team is providing in our fight against COVID-19, and what role does that play?
At Roche Diagnostics, we provide the automated laboratory PCR test. We also have a point of care PCR test, which takes 15 minutes. We have a rapid antigen, again, a 15-minute test, and an antigen that's run in the laboratory as well. On top of that, we run antibody testing, point of care and laboratory. PCR testing has been widely used in Australia to diagnose COVID. Around 8 million Australians have undergone testing so far, and it really has been the backbone of our fight against COVID here.
So for Thermo Fisher Scientific, we're supporting the COVID response across a few key areas. The first is protection with the personal protective equipment. Really a lot of work to bring that in and support the not only the healthcare workers and all of the pathology labs, but much more beyond that, as we've seen PPE needs for being broader. Analysis, so the genetic and the cellular analysis and the immunology tools. Detection, obviously, with the rapidly developing and manufacturing and distributing of tests. And then also very much now we're helping in the production and the support for customers with priority production of vaccine candidates and the clinical trials that are being developed.
Genetic Signatures developed and supplies an RNA-based real-time PCR testing kit. It's the type of RNA-based test which is regarded as the gold standard in frontline screening for those with active COVID-19. So our test kits employ our unique 3-base technology, which was developed here in Australia over the last decade, and it's highly relevant in this testing scenario as SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19, is accumulating mutations in its RNA. Approximately half of the mutations that have been reported are invisible to our test, our 3-base chemistry, and therefore our test is not impacted by these mutations.
We provide molecular diagnostic kits for highly sensitive and specific laboratory-based detection of COVID samples. And this covers collection of samples, extraction of the material, and then detection of whether a patient is positive or negative. And we provide the products, the operator training, the applications and engineering support 24/7.
Hologic was able to rapidly mobilise the production of 2 testing capabilities, the nucleic acid amplification-based tests, and for use on our Panther Fusion and Panther system. These systems are in high installation footprint globally, so the reason for having 2 types of tests was to meet the 2 types of testing platforms.
We've assisted in repurposing automated ELISA systems to detect the COVID-19 antigen, so in serology testing.
What were some of the challenges you and your team had to manage during the COVID-19 pandemic?
One of our main challenges has been continuing to provide a high level of service to our customers and ultimately to doctors and patients to ensure the continuity of care despite the issues that we've been experiencing with supply chain due to reduced international and domestic flights. Also managing our team's health and wellbeing and providing a COVID-safe working environment for both staff and customers that we continue to interact with to provide instrument repairs and service despite lockdown measures that have been in place.
In the beginning, when COVID came, we didn't even have a test. So we had to start by creating a test, which typically takes 18 months to 2 years, and we did it in 6 weeks. So when we got the test, then we had to ramp up. The demand was more than we could ever imagine. And we're still to this day ramping up to make sure that we can meet demands globally. The other challenge in Australia is that we're so far away. And as you know, the planes were stopping, air traffic was not what it used to be. And so trying to get supply into Australia caused some problems as well.
I wanted to focus on the people impact for the organisation and for people around the world. So being remote does have people impact, and also being isolated in your homes with the heavy lockdown restrictions that we did have, whilst there was a necessity for that, it does have an impact on people's lives. And that's something that I noticed through this in dealing with customers as well as with interacting with the team. Pathology technology providers were faced with restriction of access due to different environments around the countries and the customers that we serve. So very conscious of being in there to support the technology and ensure that it's running 24/7 and that there's enough uptime. But also access to support and train the staff is extremely important. And this is something that pathology technology providers do need to provide in the marketplace. So restricted access over this time meant that we had to look at different ways of supporting our technology, so via remote. So that was a challenge for us across the business.
Airports started to close and inbound freight became more difficult. It was difficult to obtain freight space. The transit times got longer, and these goods ship on dry ice. So it was difficult to get the products through and the products in good order. We were moving pallets weekly, and we spent many, many hours securing space, obtaining clearance of the products, trying to get priority shipment and chopping up these goods with dry ice so that they were viable to get here. And then we'd secure also many late night trips out to actually collect the products, sometimes in our cars, to get them so that we had viable into our warehouse. It was, looking back, it was a lot of fun, but it was just a huge challenge that I think any of us actually predicted could have been that difficult.
What are you most proud of as part of our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic?
Pathology testing has played such a vital role in the pandemic, and we're all very proud to be a part of this industry. The quality of pathology technology available in Australia and New Zealand is outstanding, and everyone in our business has a part to play. During such a difficult time for many people, being able to provide a tangible contribution to fighting the pandemic has been very rewarding for us all, and it's great for everyone involved in pathology testing to finally receive the recognition they deserve, not only for their role in the pandemic, but as part of the healthcare system overall.
I'm so proud to be part of Roche Diagnostics, and the reasons why: we created a test in lightning speed. We got it all the way to Australia, even though there were travel restrictions. And ultimately, we kept Australians safe and patients safe. Australia is the envy of the world. And for that, I thank my team for all the hours they put into this to make such a difference.
For me, I think it's the collaboration and the intensity. So we partnered with government, public and private laboratories locally and across the globe. The teams were responsive. They worked with that intensity to meet the needs of the laboratory and the government partners. And in Australia, really great success in that, working with yourselves and other organisations to make an effective response. It's been a real honour to help in the response to the pandemic. It's truly an example for us of our mission in action, which is around enabling our customers to make the world healthier, cleaner and safer. And personally, I'm very proud of being part of a team that could be aiding Australia in this response.
Well, the entire company is proud of the role that Genetic Signatures played in developing our unique Australian technology and the supply of our SARS-CoV-2 PCR-based tests to pathology laboratories. We committed to our customers that we would do everything possible to ensure supply, and I'm very proud of the fact that we didn't let them down.
I'm most proud of two things. The first thing I'm most proud of is to work for an organisation that was able to help Australians, New Zealanders and people around the world in detecting the situation that we have. And so people could make the best decisions around their healthcare, but also around their impact on others. So that was really important. But the other thing I'm most proud of is our team and what our team were able to do and mobilise over this period. So we have a small team, and it was fantastic to see the impact that we could have to support Australians and New Zealanders through this time with a testing capability.
We're most proud of our track record in keeping our customers' laboratories running with our products. This was an absolute huge challenge, and in doing this, we've contributed significantly in the overall testing capacity in Australia. And what that required was our whole team of staff went above and beyond. They adapted constantly to what the pandemic threw at us. And this included the logistics team. It included them trying to get the products in, the sales team getting the forecast numbers from the laboratories, because the laboratories were also trying to figure out how many tests would they need. And then the other part of that really was the applications and engineering team that had to do new installs with trainers and customers, and they couldn't travel sometimes to do that. We're under government restrictions. And I think we're proud that they managed to do that. They managed to keep the labs running in what was a very difficult time. And we looked back now about what we achieved between March to help the customers running, and it was a huge accomplishment.
I'm proud to work in IVD, and we all say we want to make a difference and want to help, but when the pandemic struck, we were able to do that, but we were able to see it in tangible and very quick real-time results of that assistance that we could provide.
The thing from our side is being an Australian manufacturer and contributing to the Australian response. It really develops a sense of worth within us and our team. So that's been really exciting from our point of view.
I'm proud of the fact that we've helped our customers and partners by supplying them items to help labs conduct the millions of tests in Australia so far. This has given us the best chance to beat this pandemic.
So that gives you a glimpse of what our members have achieved over the last 9 or so months in our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. But more than that, our members provide more than 95% of all of the testing technology used in Australia, including cancer, for heart disease, detection systems for diabetes, for endocrinology disorders, all manner of healthcare topics. And our members faced very similar challenges, as you've heard during this video. So I'm very proud of the role all of our members have played in keeping Australians safe and healthy during this COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Dean Whiting, Pathology Technology Australia.